There is a power that cannot be taught, only embodied. A force that moves through a room like smoke, invisible yet unforgettable. It does not shout. It does not beg for attention. It simply is. This is the power of Scorpio. For centuries, mystics, psychologists, and poets alike have tried to decode the enigma of Scorpio's magnetic allure. How is it that they can captivate a room without uttering a single word? How do they draw people in with nothing but presence? Today we go deep, deeper than any listicle or surface-level astrology can offer. We will explore the very essence of Scorpio seduction, from the ancient myths to modern psychology, from body language to unseen energy. By the end of this journey, you will not only understand how Scorpios seduce without speaking, you will feel it. And before we dive in, I invite you to become part of this path. If wisdom, transformation, and the mysteries of life call to you, subscribe to the path to Buddhist wisdom. Leave a comment below. Which Scorpio in your life leaves you breathless without saying a word? Now let us begin. Part 1. The power of Scorpio eye contact. There are glances, and there are gazes that reach straight into your core. A Scorpio's eye contact belongs to the latter. For a Scorpio, the eyes are not just a tool of communication. They are a weapon, a gateway, a mirror. When a Scorpio locks eyes with you, something primal is triggered. The rational mind fades. Instinct takes over. Why is this so? Part of the answer lies in Scorpio's elemental nature. As a water sign ruled by Pluto and Mars, Scorpio embodies depth and intensity. Their gaze carries the weight of unseen oceans, of emotion, intuition, and raw power. Unlike other signs, they do not flit or shy away. They hold the gaze steadily, as if peering into your unspoken truths. Psychologists have long known that extended eye contact can create intimacy faster than words. Scorpio, innately aware of this truth, wields it effortlessly. They do not need lines or compliments. One look is enough to say, "I see you." All of you. Consider the iconic Scorpio figures: Leonardo DiCaprio's slow, burning stare in film, Julia Roberts' playful yet piercing glance, historical figures like Marie Antoinette, whose eyes were said to ensnare courtiers before a word was spoken. But beware, this is not a gaze given lightly. For Scorpio, eye contact is an energetic exchange. To meet it fully is to step into their world, a world where depth replaces surface, and where your own shadows may awaken. In this simple act, a meeting of eyes, Scorpio begins the dance of seduction, wordless, yet louder than 1,000 declarations. Scroll Part 2. Seductive stillness, why Scorpio doesn't chase. In a world obsessed with speed and noise, stillness becomes a rare form of power. Scorpio knows this instinctively. Unlike many who chase attention or affection, Scorpio understands a deeper truth. That which is pursued often runs, and that which stands rooted draws the world toward it. This is the essence of Scorpio's seductive stillness. When a Scorpio enters a space, they do not rush to fill it with words or gestures. They occupy it fully. They stand, they sit, they breathe, and they wait. Their body language is calm, deliberate, and controlled. They do not fidget. They do not flutter. They command through restraint. This is no accident. Scorpio, ruled by Pluto, the planet of the unseen, intuitively grasps the power of presence. By remaining still, they create a vacuum that pulls attention in. Humans are wired to notice what resists the pull of chaos. A still figure in a noisy room is magnetic. A composed person amid restless energy appears sovereign. Consider the image of Scorpio actor Ryan Gosling, the long pauses between his words, the heavy silences in his performances. These are not gaps. They are gravitational wells, drawing the audience deeper into his presence. In seduction, this stillness serves a crucial purpose. It signals I do not need to pursue. You will come to me. And most often, others do, drawn by the unspoken challenge, the tantalizing mystery of the one who waits. But it is not a game. Scorpio's stillness is born of true inner alignment. It says, I am whole. I do not chase. I attract. And this, perhaps, is the most seductive message of all. Scroll Part 3. The magnetic pull of Scorpio's silence. Silence is uncomfortable for many. It begs to be filled with words, gestures, noise. But for Scorpio, silence is not a void, it is a canvas. In the dance of seduction, Scorpio wields silence as an instrument of control. They understand, perhaps better than any other sign, that words often dilute energy, while silence concentrates it. When Scorpio remains silent, they are not absent, they are intensely present. Why is this so effective? Psychologically, humans are wired to seek closure. When faced with silence, especially from someone who exudes presence, we project our own meaning into the void. We wonder, what are they thinking? Are they interested? What do they see in me? In this uncertainty, fascination blooms. Scorpio's silence is not passive. It is charged with intent. Their gaze remains steady, their posture open, their energy focused, but their mouth remains closed. The result? Others lean in, both physically and emotionally, to bridge the gap. Famous Scorpios have mastered this art. Think of Joaquin Phoenix in interviews. The long pauses, the subtle smile, the silence that invites the other to reveal more than they intended. Think of the mythic Cleopatra, whose silences were said to drive men to obsession, as they sought to decipher her inscrutable gaze. In seduction, silence achieves what words rarely can. It creates a space where desire is not named, but felt. It invites imagination, longing, and projection. And Scorpio knows, what the mind imagines is often more intoxicating than what is plainly offered. Thus, in silence, Scorpio speaks the loudest. Without uttering a word, they invite you into the mystery, and once you step in, you may find you never wish to leave. Scroll Part 4. Slow, controlled movements as a form of seduction. Speed betrays insecurity. Urgency reveals need. Scorpio understands this instinctively, and so they move slowly, with intent. In the realm of unspoken seduction, movement speaks volumes. The way one gestures, shifts, or approaches can ignite attraction, or extinguish it. Scorpio masters this language of the body. They do not rush. They flow. Imagine this: a crowded room, conversation buzzing. Amidst it all, a figure moves deliberately, each step measured, each motion purposeful. The eye is drawn not to the loudest voice, but to the calm center of control. This is Scorpio at work. Why does this captivate? Psychology reveals that slow movement signals confidence and dominance. Predators in the wild do not dart nervously, they glide. Humans, subconsciously attuned to such cues, respond with heightened attention and intrigue. Consider the elegance of Scorpio actress Grace Kelly, whose every motion on screen was a lesson in controlled allure. Or think of Scorpio figures in leadership. Theodore Roosevelt's deliberate pacing during speeches, each gesture reinforcing his inner command. In intimate spaces, this principle deepens. A Scorpio's slow reach for a glass, a languid turn of the head, a deliberate lean closer. These are not accidents. They are calculated signals of presence and intention. For the one on the receiving end, time seems to stretch. The mind begins to anticipate, to fill the gaps between movements with longing and curiosity. And Scorpio knows, desire lives not in action, but in anticipation. Thus, with the subtlest of gestures, Scorpio seduces. Not through words, not through overt display, but through the poetry of movement. Slow, intentional, irresistible. Scroll Part 5. Mastering proximity, the unspoken language of space. Before a word is spoken, before a hand is touched, there is space. And in that space, Scorpio speaks volumes. Proximity, the distance between two bodies, is an ancient language. Most are unaware they are fluent in it, but we all respond to its cues. Scorpio, however, knows this language consciously. They use it to seduce, to signal, to summon. Approach too quickly, and one risks alarm. Stay too distant, and the spark fades. Scorpio moves with precision through this invisible field. They intuitively sense when to draw near, close enough for awareness to sharpen, but not so close as to provoke defense. In a conversation, a Scorpio may lean in just slightly at a key moment, their presence amplifying without a word. At a gathering, they may stand just at the edge of your awareness, close enough for your body to notice, to feel a pull, even if your mind remains unaware. This is not coincidence. It is mastery. Scientific studies confirm that proximity affects attraction. Moving subtly closer, when done with confidence and timing, increases intimacy and trust. Scorpio knows this not from books, but from instinct honed through centuries of archetypal wisdom. Historical figures exemplify this art. Pablo Picasso, a Scorpio, was known for the almost magnetic field he created in studios and salons. Without needing to speak, his controlled use of space drew others in, compelling interaction on his terms. In romantic encounters, this skill becomes potent. A Scorpio may brush past just closely enough to ignite awareness, then retreat, leaving the memory of proximity lingering like a scent. The dance of distance becomes the dance of desire. And so, in the silent choreography of space, Scorpio seduces. Each inch bridged, each inch withheld, speaks louder than words. For in the language of attraction, space is never empty. It is charged with possibility. Scroll Part 6. The Scorpio Smirk. A smile that says everything. Not all smiles are created equal. Some are polite, some are warm. And then there is the Scorpio Smirk. A smile that is neither invitation nor rejection, but a signal of knowing. This subtle curve of the lips is a signature move in Scorpio's silent seduction. It is not practiced in the mirror, yet it emerges naturally when a Scorpio senses an opportunity or gains an upper hand. It is the smile of one who sees beneath the surface. Why is this so powerful? Because it communicates layers without a single word. A Scorpio smirk suggests, I know something you don't. I see something others miss. I understand you more deeply than you realize. It sparks curiosity and intrigue, two essential elements of attraction. Psychologically, this smile operates through the principle of ambiguity. Our minds are wired to resolve uncertainty. When someone offers a controlled, enigmatic smile, we are driven to decode it, to seek meaning beneath it. Scorpio's smirk becomes a hook that draws others deeper into their orbit. Famous Scorpios wield this expression with effortless mastery. Think of Ryan Reynolds' mischievous grin, both playful and knowing, or Winona Ryder's subtle smile in interviews, suggesting a rich inner world barely veiled. Historically, too, this trait surfaces. Catherine the Great of Russia, a Scorpio empress, was renowned for her sly smiles at court, smiles that concealed as much as they revealed, keeping even her closest advisors guessing. In moments of seduction, this smirk becomes electrifying. Across a crowded room, a brief glance accompanied by the faintest curl of the lips can ignite fascination. In intimate settings, it communicates desire, challenge, and amusement, all in a single, silent gesture. For Scorpio, the smirk is not mere ornament. It is a message, I see you. I see through you. And perhaps, I might just let you in. But the choice, of course, remains theirs alone. Scroll Part 7. How Scorpio uses listening as a seductive act. In a world where everyone wants to be heard, the one who truly listens becomes irresistible. Scorpio knows this truth, and they master the art of listening as a form of silent seduction. But this is no passive listening. Scorpio listens with their whole being. When you speak to them, their gaze is steady, their body still, their attention unwavering. Every word you utter seems to matter. Every pause, every hesitation is absorbed and interpreted. Why is this so seductive? Because deep listening creates intimacy. It tells the speaker, you are safe here. You are important. You are seen. In the rush of daily life, such experiences are rare and profoundly magnetic. Yet Scorpio takes this further. They do not merely hear words, they listen between them. They catch the tone, the unspoken feelings, the subtle shifts in energy. To be listened to by a Scorpio is to feel exposed and accepted. Few can resist this pull. Psychologists note that active listening increases feelings of trust and connection. But Scorpio's version is something deeper. It borders on the mystical. Their ability to attune to another's inner state, without interrupting or judging, makes others feel uniquely understood. Famous Scorpios often display this gift. Think of Bill Gates in conversation, quietly absorbing before responding with precision. Or Jodie Foster, whose interviews reveal an intense, thoughtful presence that draws out depth from those around her. In romantic contexts, this listening becomes profoundly seductive. A Scorpio partner will hear the words you do not say and respond to needs you barely knew you had. This creates a bond where others merely create conversation. Through the simple, powerful act of true listening, Scorpio weaves connection. And in that connection, seduction blooms, wordless, deep, and unforgettable. Scroll Part 8. The aura of emotional depth that pulls people in. Some people skim the surface of life. Light, quick, detached. Scorpio does not. They live in the depths. And from those depths, they radiate an aura that silently draws others near. What is this aura? It is not something seen, but something felt. In the presence of a Scorpio, you sense emotional gravity, a pull that invites you to open, to explore, to reveal. Even in silence, even without touch, this energy is palpable. Why does this happen? Scorpio is ruled by water, the element of emotion, intuition, and transformation. But unlike other water signs, Scorpio does not display emotions openly. Instead, they channel them inward, cultivating an inner world of profound feeling and insight. This inner world radiates outward as a silent call. Humans are wired to respond to authenticity. When someone embodies deep emotional truth without needing to speak it, others sense it and feel safe to connect. Scorpio, with their unmatched capacity for emotional depth, becomes a magnet for those seeking more than superficial interaction. Consider famous Scorpio figures, Marie Curie, whose quiet intensity and inner conviction inspired generations, or Drake, whose music resonates with layers of unspoken feeling, drawing millions into his emotional orbit. In relationships, this depth becomes profoundly seductive. A Scorpio's gaze says, "You can be all of yourself here. Your light and your shadows are welcome." This creates a bond of trust and fascination that few can resist. Yet this gift is not for show. Scorpio's depth is hard-earned, born of transformation, pain, and self-discovery. It is this authenticity that makes their aura so compelling. People sense that beneath the calm surface lies an ocean, vast, mysterious, and real. And so, without a word, Scorpio seduces. Their very presence whispers, "Come closer. There is more here than you can imagine." And most do, drawn ever deeper by the promise of true connection. Scroll Part 9. Mystery Projection, the art of revealing nothing. In an age of oversharing, mystery is magnetic, and no sign wields mystery more masterfully than Scorpio. Seduction often begins not with what is revealed, but with what is concealed. Scorpio understands this truth at a level that transcends strategy. Their instinct tells them, the less you give away, the more others lean in to discover. But Scorpio's mystery is not an act. It is an extension of their true nature. They are intensely private, protective of their inner world. They reveal themselves slowly, selectively, and only to those they deem worthy. This creates an irresistible tension in their interactions. Psychologically, the human mind is drawn to ambiguity. The unknown sparks curiosity, imagination, and even obsession. Scorpio's controlled withholding of personal details and emotions plays directly into this dynamic. A glance, a pause, an unfinished sentence. These become powerful tools of silent seduction. Famous Scorpios embody this art of mystery. Consider Björk, whose otherworldly persona keeps audiences captivated, never fully knowing where persona ends and person begins. Or Joaquin Phoenix, whose guarded interviews only deepen public fascination with the man behind the roles. In personal relationships, this projection of mystery becomes even more potent. Scorpio partners often share just enough to intrigue, a glimpse of depth, a flash of vulnerability, before retreating behind the veil once more. This dance keeps the other ever leaning forward, seeking more. Yet the beauty of Scorpio's mystery lies in its authenticity. It is not manipulation. It is a reflection of their deep understanding that true connection is earned, not given freely. Their mystery invites, but does not beg. It challenges, but does not chase. And so, by revealing nothing fully, Scorpio seduces more deeply than those who reveal everything. For what is known is soon consumed, but what remains unknown continues to haunt the imagination. Scroll Part 10. The Power of Presence, commanding a room without speaking. Some command attention through loud words, others through grand gestures. Scorpio commands through presence, silent, centered, undeniable. When a Scorpio enters a room, something shifts. Conversations slow. Eyes turn. Even those unaware of astrology sense the change in energy. It is not arrogance. It is not performance. It is the quiet power of someone fully aligned with themselves. Why does this happen? Presence is born of inner congruence. When one's body, mind, and spirit move in harmony, they emit a field that others feel. Scorpio, through years of emotional mastery and self-understanding, often achieves this state naturally. They do not need to seek the spotlight. They become it, simply by being fully present, grounded in their body, rooted in their breath, clear in their intent. They draw others in. Consider the legendary Scorpio Grace Kelly. In any room, her poise and stillness commanded attention more than any speech could. Or modern icons like Leonardo DiCaprio, whose quiet intensity often steals scenes without a single line spoken. In moments of seduction, this presence becomes magnetic. The more grounded the Scorpio, the more others orbit around them, seeking warmth, attention, recognition. The paradox? The less Scorpio seeks to impress, the more impressed others become. For those wishing to cultivate this power, the lesson is clear. Presence begins within. Silence the inner noise. Align thought with action. Root yourself in now. In this state, words become secondary. Your very being does the speaking. And if you found these insights valuable so far, consider giving this video a like. It helps us bring more timeless Scorpio wisdom to seekers like you. Now, let's continue our deep dive. Scroll Part 11. The Art of Subtle Mirroring to Create Intimacy. We are wired to seek connection. And one of the oldest, most primal ways we do this is through mirroring, the unconscious reflection of another's body language and energy. But Scorpio wields this instinct consciously and seductively. Mirroring is a powerful tool of intimacy. When someone subtly reflects your posture, gestures, or tone, your brain perceives them as more aligned with you, more trustworthy, more connected. Scorpio, ever the intuitive strategist, often masters this art without formal training. In conversation, a Scorpio may adopt your rhythm of speech, match the tilt of your head, or echo your emotional tone, but not as mimicry. It is a dance of resonance, done so smoothly that it bypasses awareness and speaks directly to the heart. Why is this so seductive? Because it creates a feeling of deep understanding. The mirrored person feels seen, accepted, and in sync. In a world starved for authentic connection, this experience becomes magnetic. Famous Scorpios often display this gift. Observe Ryan Gosling in interviews. His body language shifts subtly to match his counterpart, building rapport wordlessly. Or Julia Roberts, whose effortless emotional mirroring makes her on-screen relationships feel vivid and real. In romantic encounters, Scorpio's mirroring becomes even more potent. A gentle lean forward when you do, a breath that slows to match yours, a glance that holds just as long as you dare. Through these micro-adjustments, Scorpio draws you into an unspoken rhythm, one where barriers dissolve and connection deepens. Yet Scorpio's use of mirroring is not manipulation. It is attunement, a genuine tuning into the other's frequency. And in this space of resonance, seduction unfolds not as conquest, but as communion. Thus, without a word, without a conscious plan, Scorpio invites you closer. For in the mirror they offer, you glimpse not only them, but the longing for connection within yourself. Scroll Part 12. Emotional Safety. Making others feel deeply seen. Attraction may spark desire, but trust is what sustains it. Scorpio understands this at a core level. And so, one of their most profound forms of silent seduction is the creation of emotional safety. In Scorpio's presence, many find themselves revealing more than they expected, not because they are coaxed, but because they feel seen, accepted, and unjudged. This is no accident. Scorpio cultivates an energetic space where authenticity is welcomed and vulnerability honored. Why is this so powerful? Because in a world rife with judgment and superficial interaction, true emotional safety is rare. Most people wear masks. Scorpio's unwavering presence and deep listening, as we explored earlier, signal to others, you can drop the mask here. Psychologically, this creates an irresistible pull. The human heart longs to be known and accepted in its entirety, light and shadow alike. When a Scorpio silently communicates this acceptance, the bond deepens instantly. Attraction becomes more than physical, it becomes soulful. Famous Scorpios often exude this quality. Think of Whoopi Goldberg. Her interviews are masterclasses in creating spaces where guests open up with startling honesty. Or Bill Gates. Behind the analytical mind lies a calm, centered presence that fosters trust and candid exchange. In romantic dynamics, this gift becomes transformative. A Scorpio partner listens without rushing to fix, witnesses without judging, holds space without crowding. This silent message, "You are safe to be all of you here," is perhaps the most seductive offering of all. But this space is not granted lightly. Scorpio grants it to those they deem worthy, those willing to meet them in depth and authenticity. For just as they offer safety, they expect it in return. And so, through their unwavering presence and silent acceptance, Scorpio draws others into a bond where desire transcends the physical and touches the soul. For in the heart of every person lies a longing to be truly seen. And Scorpio sees fully. Scroll Part 13. Seduction through Style, Scorpio's Fashion Choices. Before a word is spoken, we are seen. And Scorpio knows. What is seen can be used to whisper without sound. Scorpio's fashion choices are never random. They understand instinctively that style is not about trends, it is about energy. Through fabric, color, and silhouette, they project an unspoken message. I am here, powerful, untouchable, and perhaps, if you are worthy, reachable. What defines Scorpio style? It is marked by subtlety and depth. Rich textures, velvet, leather, silk, hint at sensuality without overt display. Dark, saturated colors, deep reds, blacks, midnight blues, convey mystery and authority. Accessories are chosen with precision. A single ring, a statement watch, a scent that lingers just beyond memory. Psychologists note that first impressions are formed within seconds, long before words are exchanged. Scorpio, master of nonverbal communication, leverages this truth fully. Their style becomes an extension of their energy, a silent prelude to deeper seduction. Consider famous Scorpio icons. Grace Kelly's timeless elegance, demure yet commanding. Leonardo DiCaprio's understated luxury, sharp tailoring, minimal flash, maximum impact. These figures understand that true allure lies not in shouting one's presence, but in radiating it. In intimate settings, Scorpio's style becomes even more deliberate. Clothing that invites touch, soft cashmere, supple leather. Pieces that reveal just enough, an open collar, a glimpse of skin, balanced by coverage that guards mystery. Yet behind every choice lies authenticity. Scorpio dresses not to impress others, but to align with their own truth. This integrity of style resonates, drawing in those attuned to its frequency. And so, through fabric and form, Scorpio seduces without a word. For when the outer reflects the depths within, presence alone becomes a powerful invitation. Scroll Part 14. The signature scent, triggering subconscious attraction. Long after a glance is forgotten, long after words fade, scent lingers. And Scorpio, master of the unseen, knows this well. Among all senses, smell is the most primal. It bypasses conscious thought, triggering memory and emotion directly. A single trace of a scent can evoke longing, nostalgia, even obsession. Scorpio understands this instinctively and uses it as a silent tool of seduction. The Scorpio approach to fragrance is deliberate. They do not choose the trendiest perfume, nor do they drench themselves in scent. Instead, they select or even create a signature scent, one that resonates with their essence. Dark, warm, sensual notes dominate. Oud, amber, patchouli, musk, sandalwood. These fragrances speak of depth, mystery, and a touch of danger. Why is this so effective? Because the olfactory sense is closely linked to the limbic system, the brain's emotional center. When Scorpio's chosen scent brushes past another's awareness, it triggers an unconscious response, attraction without rational cause. Famous Scorpios often craft this aura. Think of Julia Roberts, known for her preference for subtle yet unforgettable fragrances, or Leonardo DiCaprio, whose understated personal scent leaves a lasting impression on those who meet him. In romantic contexts, the power of scent becomes even more potent. A Scorpio's chosen fragrance clings to clothing, lingers on skin, haunting the memory of those drawn into their orbit. After the encounter, the scent remains, a ghostly echo that stirs longing anew. Yet Scorpio does not rely on scent alone. They combine it with presence, eye contact, and stillness, weaving a web of sensory seduction. The fragrance is but one strand, but one that pulls on the deepest parts of the psyche. And so, with a trace of unseen perfume, Scorpio speaks without words. They leave a mark that no conversation can erase, a memory carried on the breath, long after they have gone. Scroll Part 15, Slow Breathing. How Scorpio controls energy flow. The most powerful forces are often the least visible. Breath is one of them, and Scorpio knows how you breathe shapes how others feel in your presence. Slow, controlled breathing is a hallmark of Scorpio's silent power. It is not taught in a book. It is cultivated through experience, self-awareness, and mastery of inner energy. In moments of seduction or command, a Scorpio's breath slows, deepens, anchors them fully in the moment. Why does this matter? Because human beings are deeply attuned to subtle cues of energy and rhythm. Rapid, shallow breathing signals anxiety and instability. Slow, deep breathing conveys calm, confidence, and control, qualities that draw others in. When Scorpio breathes slowly, they radiate an aura of unshakable presence. Those around them unconsciously sync to this rhythm, their own nervous systems calming in response. This creates a space where others feel grounded, safe, and subtly drawn closer. Famous Scorpios embody this trait. Observe Bill Gates in high-stakes conversations. His breath and speech remain steady, unhurried. Or Julia Roberts on screen. In moments of high emotion, her controlled breath creates an almost magnetic tension. In romantic settings, slow breathing becomes an intimate dance. A Scorpio partner may subtly match and then slow their breath, inviting the other to relax, to open, to surrender to the moment. The effect is powerful. Tension dissolves, barriers fall, and a deeper connection emerges. Yet this is no technique to be wielded for effect alone. For Scorpio, breath is a bridge between body and spirit, a way to align inner energy before projecting it outward. When their breath slows, their energy stabilizes, and their silent magnetism intensifies. And so, through the unseen rhythm of breath, Scorpio seduces without speaking. Each inhale draws power inward. Each exhale radiates it outward, shaping the energy of the space, one breath at a time. Scroll Part 16. The use of self-touch to project sensuality. Not all touch is directed outward. Some of the most powerful signals in seduction come from how one touches oneself, and Scorpio knows this better than most. Self-touch, when done unconsciously, can signal nervousness. But when done consciously, subtly, deliberately, it becomes a potent language of sensuality. Scorpio instinctively understands this, using self-touch to project comfort with their body and awaken interest in others. Why does this work? Human beings are highly responsive to cues of self-confidence and embodiment. When someone appears fully at ease in their own skin, they become naturally more attractive. A subtle stroke of the neck, a light adjustment of the hair, a slow glide of fingers along the rim of a glass. These gestures speak to sensual awareness without a word. Scorpio does not perform these gestures to impress. They emerge organically from their deep connection to physical presence. Yet to the observer, they ignite fascination, drawing attention to the body, suggesting layers of unspoken intimacy. Famous Scorpios demonstrate this with effortless grace. Watch Julia Roberts in her most iconic roles, the way she tucks a strand of hair, the gentle touch to her collarbone. Or Leonardo DiCaprio, the slow, deliberate movements of his hands during moments of tension or attraction on screen. In intimate encounters, self-touch becomes even more charged. A Scorpio partner might slowly trace their own wrist while listening or run fingers across the fabric of their clothing, inviting the other's gaze to follow. The message is subtle, primal. This is a body that knows pleasure, and perhaps so could you. Yet Scorpio's mastery lies in restraint. The gesture is never exaggerated. It is not a performance, but an invitation, one that lingers in the mind long after the moment has passed. And so, with a single touch, not to another, but to themselves, Scorpios seduces. For the one who can awaken desire without reaching outward is truly in command of the game. Scroll Part 17. Moving through crowds with silent authority. Most move through crowds to get somewhere. Scorpio moves through crowds to shape the space itself. There is a way of moving that commands attention without seeking it, a way of occupying space that alters the energy of the room. Scorpio, master of presence, instinctively moves with this silent authority. Watch closely. A Scorpio entering a crowded room does not weave nervously or glance about. They move with steady, deliberate steps, unhurried, unbothered. They claim the space with each movement, as if they belong wherever they choose to be. Why does this captivate? Because in social dynamics, movement signals status and confidence. Those who rush, dodge, or shrink signal insecurity. Those who glide through space with composure signal dominance, the very energy Scorpio naturally projects. Psychologists call this spatial claiming, the ability to move through a group as though one's place is assured. Scorpio's mastery of this creates an almost gravitational pull. Others part unconsciously, drawn to the aura of calm power. Consider famous Scorpios. Hillary Clinton walking onto a debate stage, calm, centered, unfazed by the storm around her. Or Leonardo DiCaprio entering a premiere, moving with the effortless authority of someone who shapes the space, not reacts to it. In romantic settings, this movement becomes an extension of silent seduction. The way a Scorpio crosses a room toward their interest, slowly, steadily, signals intent without a word. Each step becomes part of the dance, building anticipation before any conversation begins. Yet Scorpio's mastery lies in balance. They do not bulldoze through space, nor do they retreat. They flow, a presence that is felt before it is seen, and remembered long after it has passed. And so, by moving through the crowd with silent authority, Scorpio seduces not by effort, but by essence. For true power does not announce itself. It simply moves, and the world moves around it. Scroll Part 18. Creating an aura of confidence without arrogance. True confidence whispers. Arrogance shouts. Scorpio speaks not at all, and yet their confidence fills the room. There is a particular energy that draws people in. The energy of someone who is fully at ease with themselves, yet feels no need to prove it. This is the essence of Scorpio's silent confidence. Unlike the boastful or the loud, Scorpio projects strength through stillness. Their posture is open, grounded. Their gaze is direct, unwavering. They move with purpose, speak with intention, and listen more than they speak. Why is this so seductive? Because true confidence creates emotional safety and intrigue. It signals, I know who I am. I do not need your approval. But if you wish to enter my world, you are welcome, if you are worthy. This stance awakens curiosity and respect, two foundations of lasting attraction. Psychologists note that high-status individuals display non-reactivity. They are not easily impressed, nor easily disturbed. Scorpio embodies this trait naturally. They do not chase validation. They do not over-explain. They let their presence speak for itself. Consider famous Scorpios. Joaquin Phoenix, intense, self-contained, unmoved by Hollywood spectacle. Hillary Clinton, composed under pressure, her gaze steady even in the storm of politics. These figures embody an inner solidity that commands attention without demanding it. In romantic dynamics, this aura becomes magnetic. A Scorpio does not flood you with compliments. They do not seek to win you. They simply are centered, grounded, fully themselves. And in this space, the other finds themselves wanting to lean in, to be chosen, not chased. Yet Scorpio's confidence is not a mask. It is earned, forged through trials, transformation, and deep self-knowledge. This is why it resonates so profoundly. It is not the brittle shield of arrogance, but the quiet glow of true power. And so, without words, without overt display, Scorpio seduces. For in a world of false bravado, the one who needs no validation becomes the most desired of all. Scroll Part 19. Deep emotional resonance without words. Long after words fade, emotion remains. And Scorpio, master of emotional depth, knows how to make you feel, without speaking at all. There is a quality to Scorpio's presence that transcends intellect. In their gaze, in their stillness, in their subtle movements, lies an emotional charge that resonates beneath conscious awareness. It is not performed, it is embodied, and it draws others like moths to a flame. Why does this work? Because humans are emotional beings. We are more deeply influenced by feeling than by logic. A Scorpio's ability to project emotional depth creates a field of resonance, one where others find themselves feeling more alive, more vulnerable, more connected. Psychologists refer to this as affective presence, the capacity of an individual to influence the emotions of those around them simply through their own state of being. Scorpio, ruled by the water element and Pluto's depths, carries this presence naturally. In conversation, even without speaking, a Scorpio can convey profound empathy, intensity, and curiosity. Their gaze alone can evoke waves of feeling, making the other feel seen, valued, and subtly challenged. Famous Scorpios exemplify this power. Observe Joaquin Phoenix, whose silent moments on screen often carry more emotional weight than entire monologues. Or Winona Ryder, whose still gaze can communicate longing, sadness, or intrigue without a single word. In romance, this resonance becomes a force of silent seduction. A Scorpio may sit quietly beside their partner, yet the air between them thrums with unspoken emotion. This shared field deepens intimacy far beyond what words can build. Yet this gift is not given lightly. Scorpio chooses when and with whom to open this emotional channel. For once resonance is established, it binds, creating connections that linger long after the encounter ends. And so, without a word, without a touch, Scorpio seduces through the most primal language of all, feeling. For while words may lie and actions may mislead, the heart knows what it feels. And in the presence of Scorpio, it feels deeply. Scroll Part 20. How Scorpio's energy lingers even after they leave. Some people enter a room and are quickly forgotten. Scorpio enters, and even after they leave, the room remembers. There is a peculiar phenomenon surrounding Scorpio. Long after their physical presence is gone, their energetic imprint remains. It lingers in the air, in memory, in the emotional body of those they have touched, sometimes for hours, sometimes for years. Why does this happen? Because Scorpio engages with others on a level deeper than surface interaction. Through eye contact, silence, proximity, and resonance. As we have explored, they create emotional and energetic bonds that do not dissipate easily. Psychologists suggest that intense experiences, especially those charged with unspoken emotion, create stronger neural imprints. Scorpio's interactions are rarely casual. They are charged with presence and depth. This is why they remain in the mind long after they are gone. Consider the stories told about famous Scorpios. Friends of Joaquin Phoenix often speak of the intensity of simply being near him, an energy that lingers even after a brief encounter. Or think of Pablo Picasso, whose presence in a studio was said to transform the atmosphere for days. In romance, this lingering energy becomes a form of silent seduction that continues long after parting. A Scorpio may spend an evening with someone, and days later, that person finds themselves thinking of them still, replaying glances, gestures, moments of shared silence. This effect is not manipulation. It is the natural result of deep energetic engagement. Scorpio invests fully in the moment, connecting at a level most others never reach. And once a bond of that depth is formed, even briefly, it echoes through the psyche. Thus, Scorpio seduces even in absence. Their energy, their emotional imprint, becomes a haunting presence, one that invites return, deeper connection, and, often, a longing that defies logic. For in the end, it is not always the words we remember, it is how someone made us feel. And Scorpio ensures that feeling lingers long after they are gone. Scroll Part 21. The ultimate lesson: presence over performance. In the end, seduction is not about what you do. It is about who you are and how deeply you embody that truth. Throughout this journey, we have explored 21 ways Scorpio seduces without words, through gaze, breath, silence, movement, energy. But beneath them all lies one core principle: presence over performance. The world today is obsessed with performance, with crafting the perfect image, saying the perfect thing, engineering attraction through strategy and technique. Scorpio rejects this approach at its core. For them, true allure arises not from performance, but from presence. Presence is the energy of someone who is fully anchored in the moment, fully aligned with their inner truth. It is the quiet power of authenticity, of depth, of self-mastery. It cannot be faked. It cannot be forced. It must be cultivated. Why is this so powerful? Because presence communicates everything words cannot. Emotional resonance, inner confidence, sensual awareness, depth of soul. In a world flooded with noise, presence cuts through. It invites, it captivates, it binds. Scorpio teaches us this lesson not through theory, but through embodiment. When they walk into a room, when they hold your gaze, when they move with calm intention, they remind us that being is more powerful than doing. That silence can speak louder than speech. That stillness can seduce more deeply than action. And this is the deeper wisdom for all of us, Scorpio or not. The more we cultivate presence, through self-awareness, through breath, through emotional mastery, the more magnetic we become. Not just in seduction, but in all of life. So as you leave this exploration, I invite you to remember, it is not about crafting a persona. It is about inhabiting your truth so fully that others feel it in your very presence. And if this journey into Scorpio wisdom has inspired you, I invite you to become part of ours. Subscribe to the Path to Buddhist Wisdom, where we explore the hidden truths of life, the mysteries of the soul, and the timeless wisdom written in the stars. Until next time, walk with presence, speak with silence, and remember, the deepest seduction lies not in what you say, but in how you simply are.